Really 18 minutes before midnight, December 31st. 31 December 2024. It's been a very, very hard year. We had the war going on from October 2023, 7th of October 2023, and now we're at the end of December 2024. About 14 days into the year, my father died unexpectedly, although later I found out that while it was unexpected and, it was a shock to everyone, these things that he had to go through with his friend being one of the Khatufim, one of the kidnapped in Gaza, who is still kidnapped. We don't know where he is. Hashtag Oded Lifshitz. And literally having to deal with the war, having to deal with all of the stress of it, was very difficult for him. So just one day, on the 14th of January, my sister's birthday, he just wasn't able to wake up. Cold, dead in bed. That was the way my mother found him. I will never be able to tell anyone how difficult it was with everything. You really realized who's really there for you and who really isn't there for you when you really need it, and that includes friends and family, but especially you would have expected, I think, for so many people that people would be able to put bygones and actually be able to comfort the people who are in mourning, the people who will have to sit in Shiva, the people who have to be in Avalut for a year. But that wasn't even done, My biological, my blood family, they just weren't there, the Israeli ones. They just weren't there. And okay, there's a difference between the ones who are living outside of the country, because again, my sisters, my mother, they don't live in Israel. My mother hasn't lived in Israel for over, same amount of time. This is actually 52 years this year. Same thing with my father. It would have been 52 years this year for him. And it was just difficult. Really, people you would have expected just to kind of be decent and do the even decent thing of supporting just weren't there. And while, of course, the hard thing was the blood family, because it really taught me everything, I also learned a lot about friendship as well. That, friends are friends, but friends who become family, who literally turn up in ways that family members don't and become your sort of family, your circle, literally mean a lot to you. But then again, people who clearly we're there, but clearly don't show that they're there, it's a really, really hard thing to even just talk about. And the stress of the war and my father's death obviously led to a vacation in April. It was the first time, I think, for so many years I was just able to breathe. After just so many months of taking everything and taking, after returning from that vacation, beginning of August, I decided I needed a little bit of a break, and have been in Europe ever since. Although, again, as I tell people, I'm still watching things. I know what's going on, and it's hard being away from the country where you were culturally raised, where you were basically taught to love all your life, where you've lived for the last 10 years, where your life is basically, it's hard. But I think when you don't have the support system that you need all the time, and again, friends are amazing, that become family are amazing, but when you are basically shown that you basically don't, you don't matter to your blood family, and that basically you are not even considered, especially at a time like that. Even with all the people that will tell you they love you, they're there for you, and show up, sometimes it just isn't enough, and you just need to be able to breathe and catch your breath. And especially after a war, there will be a lot of people who will tell you that the only way that they're probably able to function is by taking trips abroad, and being abroad for XYZ amount of time to be able to breathe. And I am one of them. I mean, after 10 months, basically breaking and saying, okay, I can't do this. After what happened in January, I still lasted, another 6 months. But after everything that had happened, being in Israel for about 10 months of that war, just, still hearing everything, whatever. I care, and I'm still there. I will have to go there, obviously, get back for the 1 year my father's death, the anniversary, the Shana. But really, like this year taught me so much, and I could only hope 2025 is going to be a better year for all of us, for everyone. I can't again thank enough the people that were there for me in Israel and the people that were there for me abroad, in Czechia, in Austria, here in Portugal now. But again, a very big reality, like to people who could have been there in Israel, and just basically just, you know, were there just to show for whatever many 5, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes at the funeral that didn't even come to see the Shiva. Oh, how are you doing? Or how are you this? Or how are you that? Didn't even come at all. Didn't even come to check in. Compared to people again who are not really even blood related to me, who literally cared and did everything to kind of make sure I was comfortable, that I could be there and be happy. The people that I actually met online who actually showed to me that there is much more in life, in a friendship, in this, in that, than meeting somebody just online, that you can actually form good bonds with people that you meet online. And you can form good bonds with people you meet for only 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes at a party in Prague. In this case, it wasn't a party, it was the first night of Pesach, of Passover. Literally met them in March, literally became very good friends, or March, met them in April, became very, very good friends with them. Very grateful that they were there for me in Prague, and others were there for me in Prague, people that I met online, people that I met really online also in Austria that literally were there for me, or friends of theirs that were there for me. People again here in Portugal that I didn't really know and met on my travels. You really cannot imagine how people actually do, you know, show up when they're very much needed. Even people you hadn't seen in years that show up when they're needed and really are there when you need them. So again, I'll never be able to really repay people for that. People that you just never imagine are going to be there and just are there. And I got to meet two of them that really helped to set up, making sure that we had a minyan at my father's levaya. So thank you again to them, and thank you again to everybody who really has been there, and thank you to the people who weren't there, who showed me that they really don't matter in my life. I think my circle has become a lot smaller in terms of in Israel, in terms of in other things. Even if I might engage with certain people, you just learn a lot about really who and what matters when you really need them, and that they just don't they don't pull their weight and don't show up for you. But even there were people abroad who would have loved to have been there at the funeral, who showed up and got their families to kind of show up for me, or got XYZ to be this or that or whatever. Like, thank you to them for really being there, because again, it was so difficult, and I'll never be able to thank enough. But hopefully, here's to better 2025 for all of us. Happy New Year, and hopefully much better to come.